stuff. So I'd go and look. But then when I actually got into the field, I became a computer programmer analyst. And then what with working and all the other stuff, I just put it away. You know, it was going to be my fun day someday. Well, those days never came, and they're not gone too. So I'm happy to hear that there's other folks who still enjoy it. It's a wonderful little machine, you know, does a whole lot. And I have an assortment of the different versions. You know, I always had some notion I would check them out. So I've got my basic little silver one that I think was like the second version or something. And I put a regular keyboard in it instead of the chiclet keyboard.
Right.
So that was the only modification I made. And I've never been much of a gamer, so I don't have a lot of that kind of stuff. But I did move up from cassette player to floppy drives. And I'd actually be keeping the cassette players because I still have cassettes that I play for other things. And it's a really nice cassette player. So they wouldn't be coming.
That's fair.
Yeah, but y'all be welcome to the TVs, which worked perfectly well when I stopped using them. So, and I honestly, I would not turn them on now, though, to see. I know that sounds impractical, but they've been sitting for a lot of years, and they probably need vacuuming or looking at before somebody applies power. I wouldn't want to short anything out. I don't think it would be safe. And so they would be in the mix as well. And then, oh my gosh, you remember back when they were going to have the, started with some of the household things. You could hook your computer up to a household. And I got one of those doodads, and I never got a chance to get it out of the box. You know, it was just, I have more interest than I've had time to pursue.
Fair enough. Did you get, so you had the, you had a silver or a gray color computer with the chiclet keyboard that you upgraded to a regular keyboard. Did you have a second color computer or just the one?
Oh no, I've got more than one.
Oh, okay. So you had one of them that's white and.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember anymore. They used to be, when they came out with the newer versions and stuff, I just go on up to the Radio Shack, you know, browsing. I'm sure I'm going to get to this now or soon. And then it was a good price, so I'd buy it. So most of the stuff is new in box. You know, it could be, could have been returns. I'm not sure because, like I said, it was a distribution center. So by the time I start digging this stuff out, I would know more for sure.
Okay.
And mostly my main thing is that I've got to stop. I don't have it at home. I pay storage for that and a lot of other projects, and I need to stop doing that.
Well, so are you looking to earn money from these, or are you looking to donate them?
Yeah, I'm looking for not losing money on it. I don't want to pay tons of money on shipping, and I'd be happy to donate. Yeah. I don't want to spend, I've looked into the eBay thing, and I don't think I want to spend time trying to follow up on that kind of stuff. I don't know how active it is. There seem to be people that are buying things, but like I said, with me, it's mostly, I don't have a lot of time I want to spend doing that.
Got it.
And I don't want them to end up like in a dumpster, you know? So yeah, I'm not really looking to make money. I'm looking not to lose money, and I'm looking for them to leave soon.
Right. Well, that's fair. I think we can, one or more of us can make that happen. Grant, you joined us. I know you're you're off out and about or whatnot, but did you catch a gist of what we're talking about?
Yeah, it sounds like we have somebody from Ohio who needs to get some stuff picked up.
Yep.
We can
we
take care of that. So
yep.
All right.
Soon.
So I know we got John Larry out there, and I know we have Jason out there. And if worst comes to worst, we can just pay for the shipping and get it shipped to somewhere in Chicago if we need to.
Yeah, and I said earlier, I'd be willing to drive out there too. I got a buddy I made out there. Wouldn't mind seeing him too. So
okay.
Well, we will. I'll put put in the chat window, I'll put Eric's um, email in as well, and you can send us all an email. And we will, probably it'll be maybe after the end of the year. I'm not sure how much we'll be able to arrange between now and the Christmas holiday because we'll need to, you know, we'll need to probably either have somebody come down and pack up the stuff or have you put it in boxes and ship it. Probably the easiest thing is to have somebody come over and pick it up. But it might be something we could do before the end of the year, but definitely after the Christmas holiday we can, and maybe even during a Christmas holiday we can um, take care of it so that you don't have to pay storage for it. At least at least that part anymore.
Okay.
But I got 3 email addresses in there, so if you can send us an email with your contact information, so we can kind of set up a time and a way to get them from from you and off your hands, um, then that would be great.
So
Okay.
one more question I had is this like a carload of stuff or a truckload or what are we
I
talking?
don't think it would be a truckload. It would be more like a carload because I had to move them from one storage unit to another. And so none of it is, I can't lift a lot at any one time. So it's mostly still in, the individual boxes. It's not like everything's been grandly boxed up or anything like that. And some of it's quite heavy. It's all stored in a storage unit off-site from where I live,
But how
except
many items would it be?
um, I would have to go take another look at them. But I'm saying it'd be like the back seat of a car, possibly a trunk full. And if you guys did want the TV sets, that could be arranged.
Cool.
In
Yeah.
other words, I can put all the stuff in one place.
So Eric,
And
did
what
that
part of
answer?
Ohio?
Oh, go ahead.
What part of Ohio are you in?
Columbus, right?
Central Columbus.
Oh,
Okay. Actually, I think John Larry's in that area, so I could reach out to him as well too.
okay.
TVs might be
Cool.
interesting with a lot of the new TVs not having composite input anymore.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, there's a big group of people collecting TVs, so we can
Yep.
definitely give those a good home.
Yep.
Okay, well, there's this Sony, one's a black and white. I've forgotten what the brand is. The other one is a Sony Linatron color,
Ooh,
which is a really good TV, and I
yeah.
used it for years. And so, yeah, I could probably arrange to get those to the storage unit. Is there any kind of particular things you aren't interested in? I don't have that many in the way of ROM packs. I think I still have all the color computer magazines from the Coco and probably the books and the manuals and that kind of stuff.
I've heard in the past that we have trouble getting rid of printers. I don't know if that's really still true anymore or not.
Well, I
I
do have
go ahead.
what I have is a Gemini 10X, which is a popular printer. I have seen them on sale for eBay. But I don't know how, I haven't used it for a really long time.
It is a very popular printer, and I think you can still get ribbons for it. So I think it would be. I agree with John Mark. Printers are probably the in general, printers are probably the least collected item, just because they were often just rebrands of other manufacturers. They weren't necessarily like Tandy didn't necessarily make their own printers. They just rebadged another printer or whatnot. But but I think a Gemini it would be a reasonably popular printer, and I wouldn't see it as problem that somebody wouldn't find a home for it to use it. And I don't think there's anything else. TVs, ROM packs, MPIs, the Coco itself, the drives.
Koala pad.
Yeah, any of the peripherals, the magazines, the manuals, any discs. Lots of people just like the discs to, see what's on them. Some people use them as blanks, whatever. Again, they mean anything that's truly Coco related, that would be not of interest to folks that would, somebody would find value in using all those pieces. I think if we get to, obviously things that get too far afield of, being a Tandy product would be like TVs are interesting because that was a pretty common thing, to use a TV, so the display unit and whatnot. But um, things that aren't Tandy related, still might be able to do something with them at the auction. We do have some items from time to time that are non-Tandy related, but most people that come to the show tend to come because it's Tandy related material. So like general magazines and stuff like that might not be all that interesting, um, but I would say don't try and coordinate it all until we set up a time to come out, because it might be just as easy to have somebody, like if Eric, for instance, drives over, or one of our other members drives out, they could just drive to various locations and pick up each individual piece. So there's no need to bring it to a central spot. We can sort that out via email.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, great. Yeah, I'm sorry that I don't have time to maintain the interest anymore, because I've looked online before for color computer things and haven't found anything. I found you guys back in November, I think the end of October, and then I missed the meeting. So I didn't know whether to email or, it's kind of a cold call kind of thing. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So,
Fair enough. Nope, we're
okay.
here, and we'll help you. We'll help you make sure they find a good home.
All right, I'd appreciate it.
No problem. Well, I'm gonna
So
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Oh, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
didn't mean to take so much of your meeting. I think I'll just hang around for a bit for the meeting if that's okay.
That's fine. It's our December meeting. It should be relatively quick. We're winding down the month, or winding down the year. We've got Eric here, and we've got Grant here, and so it doesn't look like we have Brian, so we won't be able to have a uh, secretary's report tonight. He didn't indicate that he wasn't going to be here, but I don't see the secretary's report, so we'll hold that over for next month. I did talk to Eric. We're still working on the treasurer's report, but Eric, you were going to show our current balances in our various accounts. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I looked at generating a report, but it just makes no sense with our books in the state there being incomplete. But I can show you, I mean, I can show you our bank balance.
Okay.
Let me, I don't know if you can see that.
Not yet, but yeah, now we can.
Okay. Hold on. I think we want to look at the dashboard.
Okay.
Oh, I thought I had it. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so we want to look at the top half. The bottom half here is stuff that I haven't accounted for yet. In PayPal, we've got 0. In our savings, we've got 16, 265 and 2 cents. And in our checking, we've got 332.71, which is in line with what we were expecting. So I'll have a report by the end of the year for more specific.
Now those $1,200, those would be like some types of disbursements from the accounts that
Yeah,
haven't yet been
I think
accounted
this
for.
was like Cocoa Fest where we transferred from PayPal to checking.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
looks like still about $15,000 overall in the treasury after all of our.
oh no, the top half is our current balance. So 0 is our PayPal balance,
Okay.
and 16,262 is our savings. So really, we have about 16,500 in assets.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I would like to see, like, over the last few months, what kinds of what kinds of things have flowed in. I know we haven't gotten a lot of table stuff and memberships yet, because we haven't focused a lot of attention on opening up the registrations, but that'll happen real soon. But it's nice to know we have about, like you said, about what did you say, about 16 or about 16,500?
16,500. That's probably what we're going to start off the year with.
Good. Okay. Grant, I can do. I know you're probably not at a computer. I can go ahead and share when it gets the appropriate time, but maybe you can give us an update on Cocoa Fest for next year.
Oh, sure, no problem. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to really do as much as I'd like to due to COVID. I was down and out for 18 days and then had to hurry up and go on a vacation. But I did watch the meeting from last week, and there were some questions that were asked. For example, on the barbecue, there was somebody who needs to have a special menu, for vegan or vegetarian or anything like that. They just need to shoot me an email, and I can get a separate plate set up for their dietary needs. So that's not an issue there. Um, the I do remember you guys brought up about the windows in the presentation room. So I was thinking maybe we can use some sort of like blackout papers, maybe to put over those windows to help the glare. The hotel says something that there's sometimes people put together PCP pipes and hang curtains on it, but that might be a little bit more expensive than what we need to do. So, but there are some things that we can definitely do on that.
No, I
We could
like
make
your.
a
So,
Oh,
cool,
go ahead,
oh,
Eric.
I was gonna say we could make a cool banner type of thing, but like you said, that may be quite pricey.
Yeah, to make there's a pretty big wall over there, but we might be able to do both things, right? I'm thinking over all the windows, we could buy some light blocking um, material, paper, whatever, that's relatively cheap, and just put it up there because I don't think we're ever going to need lights. I don't think we're ever going to need natural light in that room. So I think just putting something up that's, that doesn't have to be moved for the entire fest would be okay. But Eric makes a good point. If there's a way, I've got a plotter here and it's not currently working, but I might be able to get it working before the show. If it is, then I might be able to print out because it's a 42-inch wide plotter, so it might be able to print out a large banner and hang it up on top of the whatever we use for the light blocking paper. So that might be,
okay.
or we could do more than one. We could do. The only thing I would say is, and I'm just throwing this out here, is since we have so much room, um, we could do multiple banners, but it'd be nice if they weren't just so static. And by that I mean if there was like something like we wanted everybody to take a pen and put their signature on it or something, and we'll we'll immortalize that afterwards or something. Or if we want to use we want to put some sort of gamification thing up on there, like some sort of uh, trivia or something. I don't think those are great ideas, but maybe that spurns somebody to come up with a great idea. Because otherwise the space is kind of wasted. It's just it's just those windows, and they're not going to be used for anything else. So if we've got something of interest there, then we could potentially print something up and put it on the walls. That's a good idea, though. But I do think at the very least, Grant, your idea for taping something up that's light blocking is an easy win. My first thought, it's not very photogenic, but I'm pretty sure it would work. Would be tar paper or building paper, like they put on floors um, to keep people from scuffing up the actual floor. It's like this really thick felt type paper. It's pretty cheap, and it comes in these really wide rolls. They're like 4 feet wide or something like that, and they've got like 100 feet in a roll. So um, that would be pretty easy to use. But there might be other things that are even better.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely do some exploring on that and see what we can come up with.
Okay.
A mural?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
A mural like a beach scene with what is the palm trees and the coconut trees and the
You,
ocean and
if you wanna paint it,
oh can't you buy something like that? Can't
well,
you
you can. But what he's saying is, if we buy a mural that's as big as those windows, the windows are they're like 9 feet tall and they're like, I don't know, 20 feet wide. So the mural would cost like $1,000.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh okay. Well, maybe it's not such a good idea.
I mean, that's something that, I mean, I like the idea for something, but we might want to find multiple of them so that we could print out 4 or 5 of them and tape them on the wall. But I don't think we can do one that's the full size of the window because the window is pretty big.
Oh, okay.
The bear trap and offer some of my wife's services. She does some very nice embroidery work,
Yep.
but something that large is probably going to go like $400 or $500 worth of materials.
Yeah. 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 And I'm probably underestimating, but I'm even at $400 or $500 in materials. That's it's a little pricey for a 2-day way to keep light from coming in.
Not only that, it'd probably take her at least 2 weeks to do something like that.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, Grant, what else?
Also, right now, I've been working with Randy. We are looking around sometime in mid-December to get the registration up and running for tables and so forth, and memberships and the buffet. So hopefully that will end up around the 15th. But realistically, we're probably looking another week or two further from that because we just know how we have to work through bugs and everything. So, but
Are you
hopefully we'll get that up
talking
and
about
running.
December or January?
December.
Cool.
So.
Okay.
And the other thing too about the internet. So I talked with the hotel. Their internet is set up to be more
Download.
for downloading more than uploading.
Mhm.
Which from everybody I talked to, they had no problems with downloading anything. It's the uploading of the videos to the to YouTube and so forth like that.
Mhm.
Their suggestion was to bring in a company to set up our own internet inside there, but you're looking at, probably several hundreds, if not a couple $1,000s to do that. I kind of think if we might want to look into maybe a 5G situation, we can use that maybe to stream YouTube videos back up for the presentations.
Yeah.
Is that what we did last year?
We
I
used
don't think so.
no,
Okay.
we used the hotel Wi-Fi, which was, I mean, we used the hotel internet connection, which was problematic because they didn't have enough upbound and upload speed to do streaming.
Right.
right.
So
And
we had
And the other
playing
thing
TV.
too, that you remind me was that they also had State Farm in there that was also conducting business, which could also have been causing some havocs on the internet as well, because they were doing their disaster recovery claims
Okay.
for the tornado that went through there earlier that year.
Got it. Okay.
So if you remember, we kicked State Farm out of their room.
eh, I do
Isn't there a
think.
Starlink?
Oh, go ahead.
Isn't there a Starlink system Elon Musk does or something?
Yeah, but that's very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if somebody already has one on their camper and they just pull up in the parking lot with it.
That's true. Although I don't know any of our members that have that currently.
Oh, somebody wrote me. I sent out something on Coco List maybe 8 months back, and somebody said, "Oh, I could do that."
Okay. Well, I guess John Mark, if you know who that is and can suggest it, I'm thinking. I mean, Grant, I think you're right. I'm the only thing I'm thinking is I don't really care how we get internet, but I don't think we should leave it up to the hotel. I think we should come up with our own plan. I think though if it's going to be, we may have to find a way to recoup a little bit of that cost. So maybe there's a way of like saying, hey, if you need, we'll give you access to the to this particular SSID on the floor. But if you're going to be so many, megabits or something, if you're like if you're a broadcaster or something, then we need you to pay like, $50 or something to use it for the weekend or something. Maybe we dole it out that way. Everybody who just wants to basic connection to read their emails and check their messages can use the hotel Wi-Fi, and then the people who really need the good connection can maybe pay for it. But the first thing we need to understand is how much it costs to do a 5G connection. So I guess how do we go about that? Are you already planning to reach out to somebody, or were you waiting to get a decision
I
or
can
a
do some
direction?
research on that. I'm sure we can probably find out about T-Mobile or AT&T and Verizon. So I know there's been advertisements about using their internet for like $25 a month or something like that.
Okay.
But the question is, do we want to keep it, for the whole year, just for that one weekend? That's the only problem. If there's a pay as you go type of situation, we might be able to do. So I'll do some research into that and see what I come up with.
Well, I mean,
Because I think the only person that I know that really had issues was just Randy doing the YouTube. I mean, I don't think anybody else really complained about the internet much at all.
I think, I mean, yes, Randy had challenges. I think the other part though was I think Taylor and Amy had been hoping to do some broadcasting. I don't think they were upset; they just weren't able to do it. And then I think what was what's the other podcast that they do? They do their show later on in the year and on the East Coast. Um,
Oh, Migos.
yeah, yeah. What is their thing called anyway?
I can't think of it.
Yeah, anyway, I think they'd commented to me that they had hoped to broadcast something, but weren't able to. I don't know that it was necessarily a complaint. Because I think they were more like, well, yeah, we didn't tell you guys we were going to do it, so we can't really be upset that it didn't work. But I think there's a couple people that would have loved an opportunity to stream if they had the capability to do so.
Okay.
So, but
So yeah, I think we can look into that.
but I would say, we can't I mean, this isn't unique to the Cocoa community. There's lots of people that need a pop-up internet connection for a convention that's over a few days, and so I would assume that that one or more of the cellular providers has a way to get us a nice fat pipe for 3 days and charge us a reasonable amount of money to do it.
Do we know what how VCF does it?
No, but I can find out. Actually, I was going to suggest that maybe you should reach out to Michael Lee, just to see, because they may already have something or a company that they already work with. And I mean, why try to cultivate a new relationship when they've already cultivated a great relationship with somebody that can get us a great deal?
Okay, I'll reach out. If you can shoot me his email address,
Yep.
I'll reach out to him. That'd be
Sounds good.
awesome.
Okay. Okay. What other questions or what other updates?
The only other thing was that I know that John, I think you guys were going to discuss the hardware projects. Did you guys talk about that prior to the meeting today or not?
We did not, so I'm happy for somebody to give some information on that.
Okay, and before we go into that, the one other thing too that will be really quick will probably be the Salvador's
Yep.
T-shirt pictures.
I will bring it up here. So let me put it in the thing here. Oh, and you know what? You guys can't see it, so give me a second so that I can share it. I forget. Hold on here. Share. Let me see if I can share just the picture here. Okay, so let me see if this shows up. So does it show up for everybody?
Yep, there it is.
Do you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go. So that's, now mind you, this is his first version of it. So if there's, I'll post it on the Facebook and our website and whatnot, so folks can comment on it. I think he's looking for comments or concerns. I think, my first thought is, I mean, obviously he's got he's got some of the idea. Might want to change maybe the font for Cocoa Fest to be more like the Star Wars font. The keyboard on the Millennium Falcon is kind of cool. I'm thinking we're probably missing an opportunity to have the TIE fighter shooting at something. Maybe have the X-Wing fighters maybe be more like something that from the Cocoa arena. So, but he's looking for comments. So I'm going to post it, like I said, on the website, and I'll post it on the mailing list, and I'll post it on Facebook. And then folks can comment on what you like or don't like about it. And then Salvador's I think he was thinking maybe over the Christmas break or early in January to finish it up, so that he could get this is for I think this is the
T-shirts.
This is one for the T-shirt, and then there'll be another different version that's more of a wider than it is tall version for the badges.
I think it's a very good first start, so I like it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's he's got an artistic flair. So anyway, there you go.
This
I
is
don't.
Salvador.
Yeah, Salvador.
Yeah.
Mhm. Indeed.
Okay. And I think
Uh-huh.
now I'll turn it over to John, and he can discuss his ideas of what he's trying to do for Cocoa Fest, and we can maybe, decide which one's feasible to do and go from there.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me see where. Sorry, let me see if I can find out how to stop sharing. There we go. Okay. John Mark.
One idea was like to write a Verilog or HTML. What is it called?
VHDL.
Hard VHDL program to like have an 8-bit microprocessor with a macro code, microcode. Is that what it's called? Microcode that would be able to emulate any 8-bit microprocessor of the 1980s, any popular microprocessor of the 1980s. What we would do with it, I don't know.
Well,
It
that
would be wonderful.
that already exists. That's it's called a well, the name's escaping
The
me.
Mister or the
Yeah, the
Oh yeah,
Mister.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is exactly what the Mister is. And we also have a Cocoa FPGA, so we do have a Cocoa version as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the challenge with I think with something like that, not that Cocoa FPGA and Mister don't already exist, which is itself that's a realization as well. But both of those projects are, I mean, the chip that they use to create all that 80s capability is not cheap. So a product that contains, because it's an FPGA that would be necessary, and um, the chip itself is kind of expensive. So a project that uses the chip would also be expensive, and so it
It's
probably would
expensive,
be
like $100 expensive, $200 expensive,
probably $250 expensive.
and
Yeah,
getting
not
more expensive every year or coming down in price as years go on.
not really coming down on price. They tend to be going up. Now, mind you, that's not the price for the that's not the price for the chip. But the chip is a large part of that. That probably ends up being the price of the project, right? So probably 200, anywhere from 150 to $250. I'm just thinking, I, I'm wondering if there is a way to do something a little bit less ambitious that might be a little cheaper, that's maybe specific to Cocoa, like if we constrain it to something related to the Cocoa or the MC10 or the Dragon. Is there a way we get something that maybe is down sub $100, right? Because I think anything under $100 would be a more attractive price point. So
Well,
Hmm.
I mean, if we want to, I know John Mark has talked about trying to attract a younger generation. I would say like a Cocoa Mini would be very attractive.
yeah, yeah, if we could get like I think Rocky or whoever was doing the reproduction boards. If we could um, if we could work with somebody like that to take all of the the uh, I don't know, the DRAM and the glue logic and all that stuff that is just the smaller number of chips, and we could move that all into Verilog or VHDL. To your point, John Mark, which I think is very
Hmm.
feasible. And I mean the RAM to move that into like SRAM or whatever. But and then you'd have a a display chip, you'd have a CPU chip, and you'd have the SAM, or maybe like oh, who was it that just made the replacement for the SAM that was just in the uh, uh, mailing list the other day? Siren, um, uh, that implemented a Verilog version of the SAM chip. if you took all that together and you could get just down to a few chips, so one RAM, one ROM, CPU, the video, and maybe a SAM chip, and then the one glue chip. Um, you might be able to make a entire Coco that's maybe like that big or something. That might be, and it make it as a kit, right? Put the surface mount chip on the board, and the rest of it is you build it yourself, and then when you get done, you boot it up, and you have yourself a a, a, a small Coco, right? Eric, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. It would be. I think that would have a lot of appeal. I mean, it wouldn't be a Coco 3. It would be more like a Coco 1 or 2. But if you had a expansion port on it, put the little connector on there, and maybe you don't do cassette. Maybe you only do uh, drive wire or something, and or I don't know, something to keep the parts count down. But um, that way people could have a kit, and the young generation could solder it up at the show, and then take it home and plug it into a TV and have themselves a fully, I guess they'd have to come up with a keyboard, but have themselves a fully functional Coco.
Bunch
And
of old DIMMs smaller sizes that I took out of old machines, just sitting in a file folder right now. Probably 200 of them.
oh, cool. Okay. Well, there, John Mark, there's some additional ideas, I guess. When you guys meet next to talk about what things you want to consider.
Well, we don't have a hardware discussion group. I've just been discussing it with Grant. Um, I was trying to think, how could I, have a MAME running on my PC and through a USB port or an Ethernet port, like connect to an MPI or an S100 bus somehow. Like MAME could be running at 400 megahertz and the S100 bus could be running at 4 megahertz, and there could be a serial connection, or the Turbo 9 could be running at 400 megahertz and the S100 bus could be running at 4 megahertz, and you could test S100 cards, or you could hook in a multi-pack interface through a serial connection, and and I don't know.
Well, John, what you could make is a Coco cartridge to USB interface of some kind. So you could hook your Coco up to a USB on a computer, maybe, or something like that. I don't know.
Well, there is a USB cartridge for the Coco already. I know that was in the mailing
Oh,
list a couple months ago, but I don't think it has the drivers that you'd have to write something that lets it, communicate with MAME. But I know the hardware part has has been realized.
cool.
And I don't even know what the appeal of an S100 bus is, but I've heard a lot of people say that early computers had these buses, and you could have video cards and all kind of stuff. And
Hmm?
like, is there a universal bus that we could use on the Commodore, the TI 99 4A, the Coco? That's probably dreaming, but well, I think somebody was saying maybe they could take the PS2 and their PC and get like an EISA and then plug a floppy controller into that and then control a floppy. Like, I had never heard of that, but it makes sense that you could put a little board that would convert from PS2 to EISA, and then why not?
Right.
Well, I've been
Yeah.
playing with the IBM 5160 and the 5150, and there's an expansion chassis that you connect to with some PCI cards or ISA cards, and something like that on the Coco would be cool. If you wanted to convert to another bus, you just plug in a cartridge with that bus on it. But I don't think there's a card with a different bus on it, so that'd be a cool one to have.
Is there any, I mean, obviously that's an update. Is there anything you need from the group, John Mark?
Oh,
right at the
I
moment?
don't I don't know. I don't even know if it's a good idea. Um you know, people talk about having an 8-inch floppy on the Coco. Like, I don't even know why you would want to do that, but maybe you want to be able to read an 8-inch floppy. I would love to be able to read a floppy into my PC, like a five and a what is it, five and a
Order.
quarter.
Mhm.
But there's not a lot of USB to floppy interfaces. There are a few I've seen. I don't know how good they really are.
Well, the de facto standard is the grease weasel.
Grease Weasel. Yeah, I was gonna say you should look up Grease Weasel if that's what you want to do, and you should talk to David Ladd because that's his
Yeah.
that's his passion.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, the TI 99 4A had one of the best like sound chips for doing speech or something.
Hmm.
Like, how do you connect that to a Coco? I don't know. Like, there's probably easier ways to do sound today and much better quality sound chips you can make today. But like if you could take the best card from the Commodore and the best card from the TI 99 4A and the best S100 card and put them all together into the Coco and have the best of everything.
Hmm.
It sounds ridiculous maybe, but I don't know. If someone were trying to test a memory card for an S100 bus and they could hook it into their PC and run MAME and emulate an MSI computer and exercise this S100 bus, that sounds like it would be cool. Um, I don't know.
Okay.
I think some people are trying to sell Digital Equipment Corporation cards to businesses that still need their Digital Equipment Corporation computers to run because back in the 70s, they went through all the red tape to get the government to approve it. And if they ever change, they have to go through all this red tape over again. So they're trying to keep these Digital Equipment Corporation computers running to this day because of that.
Hmm.
And Silent 700, Tim
Jason Timmons.
whatever, Jason Timmons,
Right.
actually grabs up these Digital Equipment Corporation stuff and sells these cards to these. I don't know if they're nuclear power plants or airports or whatever that have to have these systems running.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I don't
like,
know. I mean, I obviously that sounds like a pretty ambitious project. I don't. We sounds like we to do that something like that we would need to find somebody who's an S100 person. I'm not. I mean, I know they exist, but I'm not a very knowledgeable person on that. So
yeah,
okay.
and of course, you know, people are talking about these Fuji nets and these drive wire, being able to use drive wire
Mm-hmm.
to I guess get on the internet. I don't know, with like a telnet or a SSH kind of a connection. We've got these ESP32s that can do a serial to Wi-Fi. I think somebody has made a an Ethernet connection for the Coco. You can, of course, connect a Raspberry Pi to the Coco and then use the Ethernet or the Wi-Fi on that. And
Mm-hmm.
and then okay, so we have this capability, but what are we going to then connect to? And we've talked about like a BBS. Maybe we could have a BBS at the Coco on like an intranet and not have to go out on the internet, but just local. There's a BBS local on Telnet or something on an intranet. Um, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
But yeah.
I mean, you're mentioning a whole bunch of possibilities, and that's great. But it sounds to me like we need to kind of narrow them down, and we need to find somebody who is kind of have the technical expertise to realize something. So I would say, do we know that, do you have somebody in mind, or is that yourself, or who do you think is
Um,
the person that we should entrust this? Because I'm thinking the project that a person that wants to own this and can commit to making it happen is way more interesting to me than any of these kind of possibilities that may never actually realize.
Well, instead
Um,
of looking, oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
I
Um,
know. You go ahead. Go ahead.
well, thought came in that instead of looking for a project to work on, we could fund a person or a company or something with a grant, right? So we can give them a grant, they'll deliver
Mhm.
some kind of a product, and the cocoa world will benefit. You know, that could be useful for someone who doesn't have a lot of money but has a lot of time.
Yep.
Um, I know there's quite a few members in our club who are like that. They're retired, semi-retired. They
Mhm.
have a lot of time. They just don't have any money.
Okay. Well, John, Mark, maybe that's a path forward is to find a project that's kind of been thought of, but the person's not able to move it forward because they need some funds. Maybe we help with the funds and handling some of the parts of the project that would get it into people's hands.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Um, So any other, that was kind of a discussion around something for Cocoa Fest, although it doesn't have to be for Cocoa Fest. Is there any other, do folks have any more questions for Grant for Cocoa Fest?
Now, I was wondering if we could have like a survey to see how many people, if I set up like a plain old telephone, what is it called, a PBX, private
Yep.
branch exchange
Hmm.
system on my table, somebody's willing to let me borrow this little Panasonic box with like 8, what are they called, RJ11 ports on it.
Hmm.
And if people just want to call from one extension to another, and if they're close enough to my table, they can run the RJ11 cable, telephone cable to my table and plug in, and they could have maybe a modem connection or fax or
Cool.
a plain old telephone, a rotary dial maybe. That might not work, but at least a touch tone should work. And
Why don't you
um,
do, I think that's great. Why don't you, if you can, author on the website, posting about what you're offering, and we'll
mhm.
post it on the website and I can post it on Facebook so that we can try and get folks that are interested in it to chat with you about it. Because yeah, I think people being able to connect via modem is it's interesting, and I have a feeling somebody may want to do that as part of their exhibit for 2024. That's actually a really cool idea, especially if it's more or less self-contained and all they got to do is just wire, just run a extension telephone cord from your table to theirs.
Mhm.
The only thing that would be a logistics concern is um, trying to make sure that all those folks that have those exhibits are reasonably co-located where your table is, right?
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
do that at BCF Midwest. And that's a lot of fun.
It
The
was a lot
phone
of
will
fun.
start ringing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It was really, you could pick up the phone and you could call another extension and yeah, they had some where you'd have a fax machine or whatever. So Um, I think that's cool. I really do. But we need to find the people that are interested in doing that. So if you could do us a favor and compose a post about what you're looking to offer and get it onto the website, that'll help.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do that.
Okay. So we talked. So I don't have any old business for this month. We held over the conversation about the hardware project, which we just got done talking about. The only other item that I have as part of official business is the meeting date and time. And John Mark, I know you ran a poll.
Oh, I
Maybe
did. Yes, 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 I did.
so. Maybe you could give us the results of that, um, and we can
Sure.
talk about whether we want to change the meeting time. I know Brian, or not Brian, but oh man, I'm trying to think. Yeah, Brian Weisler. He had mentioned that Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are better for him, but I think the reason we chose Tuesday and Thursday is because I don't know about Mondays, but Wednesdays there tends to be a lot of um, religious activities that happen on Wednesdays, and nobody wants a meeting on Friday or Saturday because that tends to be part of the weekend. So for some reason, Monday seems ill-suited to meetings as well. So Tuesday and Thursday became the options to consider, but maybe I was wrong on that. So thoughts are appreciated.
Yeah, Mondays I've got a church thing. A lot of times Wednesday is a church thing. The first Tuesday of the month doesn't work for me, but the other Tuesdays work.
So what do we have? How do you read this? What had
Well,
the most
it's hard to see everybody, but there's six people have said Tuesday, January the 11th.
Thursday, January the
th
11th.
Yeah, Thursday, January the 11th. The only person that didn't like that date was Keith H. March, and the only date he liked was Tuesday the 16th.
Mhm.
Or yeah. So it looks like Tuesday, Thursday the 11th is the day we should go with, according to this.
Okay. Thursday the 11th that's the second Thursday of the month, which is fine. We did the third, and now we do the first, so we could move it to the second.
Do you want a motion for such?
Well, I thought, yeah, if people are interested in moving forward, I'm happy to entertain a motion and then some discussion. I'd love to give folks an opportunity to discuss this, but yeah, a motion would be fine.
Yeah, also move.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second to move the meeting to the second Thursday of the month, starting in January, which would be the 11th. Any discussion? Tony, John, Brian, John Mark?
I think we did Tuesday the 2nd for a long time, for many years. Thursday, the second Thursday of the month for many years. But when Brian Gores became treasurer or something and got a job, it didn't work out for him. So we changed to the first. But I think to go back to the second would be fine.
Well, Brian's on. Brian, you want to give a comment?
I don't remember if it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday that I was doing meetings, but that got changed for some reason.
Okay.
Just went over.
Well,
Tuesday I'm busy with something, so I can't make it.
but
Wednesdays Wednesdays.
This would be Thursday. So it's Thursday. So
Yeah.
Thursday still
Yeah,
okay.
Thursday is a better date overall for me.
Okay. Tony, any thoughts from your perspective? You've been doing this longer than most.
What's up?
Yep.
The Glenside meeting. Yeah, hello.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
What do you think about the second Thursday of the month for having our meetings, our monthly meetings?
I'm pretty much willing to go along with whatever anybody needs. I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Okay, that's fine. John, do you have any concerns?
No.
Sorry, not you, John Mark. John Grofund. He's on mute. He must have stepped away. Well, so I have a motion on the floor for a meeting to be held the second Thursday of the month, starting in January, and a motion and a second. So, any other comments? Okay, well, I'll take it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, well, we'll try out the second Thursday of the month, starting in January, and we'll see how that goes. Okay. Well, it is the bottom of the hour. I thought if we didn't have many updates, but turns out that we ended up chatting quite a bit. I had some other things going on, but we can hold that over till January. Any other, I guess, additional new business before we finish up for the month? Okay. Well, then in that
Nothing
case,
for me.
okay. Well, thank you. Um, obviously, a happy holidays to everyone who celebrates and whatever holiday you celebrate. And we will be happy to entertain a motion to close out the December meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I second.
I have John Mark with a motion and Brian Goers with a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Well, I will see everybody in January. Hopefully before then we will have goodness, I'm drawing a blank here. We'll have the registration pages for the Cocoa Fest for 2024 available. I'll post the new picture up, and hopefully everybody will comment on it. So Salvador has some material to work with, and then John Mark, you're going to put a posting up about a PBX on the
Yes.
website so that we can get that in circulation.
Yes.
Sounds great. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
I'll have a good one.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye.
Thanks.